Monsters University, the 2013 prequel to 2001's Monsters Inc., is not regarded as one of Pixar's best. The studio is known for its storytelling quality, and I think that most audiences felt that MU didn't quite measure up to that high bar that Pixar sets for itself. I'm not going to claim that Monsters University is a great movie. What I am going to say is that I believe it is grossly underappreciated when it comes to its theme. I see this movie getting written off all the time in Pixar rankings as just another generic frat movie, or as being a throwaway prequel primarily filled with fluff. There's definitely merit to some of that, and there's a lot of room to criticize this movie, but it's not that often I hear takes on this movie that actually dig into what it's really about. It may be because the general vibe of the movie is colorful and lighthearted, but underscoring the entire thing is this really mature theme revolving around an incredibly difficult truth about life. Sometimes, it is physically impossible for you to achieve your dream. That is the reality that Mike faces in Monsters University. It's a heartbreaking idea, and it's very well explored and dealt with throughout the course of the movie. Mike Wazowski's dream is to be a scarer. Ever since he was a little kid and went on that field trip to Monsters Incorporated, he has lived and breathed this dream. He has done everything in his power to set himself up to achieve success. He even gets accepted into his dream school, Monsters University, but once he gets there, he's in for a bit of a rude awakening. Mike faces constant criticism and ridicule for not looking scary by the standards of the movie's universe. Meanwhile, monsters who don't even seem to try succeed through the sheer fortune they've had to be born with scary features. What sets this movie apart for me is the fact that Mike does not end up succeeding as a scarer. No matter how much he wants it, he is not scary, and therefore, no matter what he does, he will not succeed as a scarer. You see a lot of movies that send what I believe to be well-meaning, inspirational messages that if you just want something enough, and if you just work hard enough, you can do anything you set your mind to, just through sheer willpower and determination. A movie that demonstrates this perfectly is the Disney toon flick Planes. Dusty Crophopper is the anti-Mike. Dusty is a crop duster plane. That is literally what he was built for, but he has a dream to become a racing champion. This would be impossible enough on its own, but Dusty ends up facing an avalanche of extra obstacles such as his fear of heights and his fellow competitors setting out to sabotage him. Despite his physical limitations and the extra adversity, Dusty finishes the race first and his dreams come true. As nice as that is to see, it's just never gonna happen in real life. And that's okay. I mean, Planes is a cute movie. It doesn't have to be that deep. I really don't mind it, but it definitely takes the easy route on this. The message that you can do anything you set your mind to sounds nice, but it is simply not true for so many people. And if you have something outside of your control that is preventing you from achieving your dream, it isn't your fault, and I'm very sorry. Sometimes that's just how life is. It's not a reflection on your character or abilities or a failure on your part. It's simply how it is. So how do you accept that? Where do you go from there? Monsters University offers a take on this that doesn't shy away from these hard truths, but it's not a depressing movie either. Mike is in denial about not being scary for a long time. They even give him the faux Dusty treatment when Sully tampers with the controls on the final scare exam. He gets that moment of glory and gets to believe for a moment that he truly did overcome his limitations. But once he finds out what Sully did, he has to conclude once and for all for himself if he is scary, so he enters the human world to test it out. The kids, in fact, are not scared of him. The funny thing is, no matter what they looked like, if an unidentified creature showed up while you're sleeping, that would scare most people. But that's besides the point. After this final devastating blow, Mike finally accepts that he is not scary, and that even if he wanted it more than anyone and tried harder than anyone, he just can't do it. Another thing I really appreciate is that Mike and Sully get expelled for the stunt they pulled. What they did was dangerous and reckless, and they received adequate consequences for their actions. It adds another layer of that realism to the movie. I like that while she has to expel them, Mike and Sully finally earn Dean Hardscrabble's respect at the end of the movie. Then comes my favorite line of the movie. After Mike's bus drives away and Sully runs after it to stop him, he says,
Mike, you're not scary. Not even a little. But you are fearless.
Sully goes on to explain that while he himself is scary, he does not possess the mind for scaring like Mike does. He couldn't have pulled off the biggest scare the school had ever seen without Mike's orchestration and expertise backing him up. Through all of his years slaving away to study the art of scaring, while not being scary himself, Mike has the mind for it like no other. And what we've seen develop throughout the movie is that Mike and Sully make a great team. Between them, we have the mind and the execution, the plan and the attack. So they apply to work at Monsters Inc. and work their way from the bottom up. They find another route to success. For Mike, it's a different avenue to a similar yet redefined dream. He still gets to have that moment he's envisioned of stepping over the yellow line and onto the scare floor as an employee of Monsters Incorporated. The reality is that as humans, we simply can't just achieve anything we want to, and that sucks. But we can figure out how to adjust and realign. We can accept hard truths and adapt in order to move forward. We may not always achieve our original dream, but we can still find a way to thrive and be happy. That's why despite everything that Mike faced and endured, the ending of this movie is hopeful and it feels victorious. And that is why I believe that Monsters University deserves a little more recognition than it typically gets. If you're an MU lover, then I'm happy to have you, and if not, then I hope you maybe gained a bit of new perspective on the movie. Either way, thanks so much for joining me on this video. Hit like or subscribe if you enjoyed this content, and look out for more videos like this coming soon. I also have a Disney movie trivia series on this channel, so check that out if it interests you. Thanks, and see you next time.